Come on, picture this. You leave the house with your phone at 30% and think, this will last me all day. And 2 hours later, you're desperately looking for a charger. Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about in today's video. 2 power banks that are going to tackle that problem head on. They're these 2 Q-Tex I have here, and they come with very different approaches, but with the same clear idea. Fast and hassle-free charging in your daily life. On one hand, we have the Q-Tex CP25, also known as the CP253L, with 20,000 mAh and up to 45 W of power, designed so you can forget about outlets all day long. On the other hand, there's the compact magnetic Q-Tex CP12 with 10,000 mAh, which I've tested with my Poco F7 Ultra, and I can already tell you that the magnet works surprisingly well, even being like this. This video is focused on that, on seeing how they charge, also checking what real power they can give us, how long they take to fill up, and how much battery life they offer. And above all, which of the 2 makes more sense depending on the type of use you have. We'll discuss all that in today's video. Join me and get comfortable at TechGround. Before we begin, I want to provide some context about Q-Tex, which is a brand we're quite familiar with here on the channel. We've already reviewed different products. In fact, I have products that I use daily. My power banks are from Q-Tex. My adapters, for example, I have them right here. This S15, which is a real beast at 150 W, can power computers and a bunch of devices at the same time. I also have, for example, this wall adapter with several 65W ports, so I don't have to carry a bunch of chargers. All of this includes certifications for any device, which is why I wanted to explain. The brand is focused on devices that power our mobile phones, our devices, our headphones, everything that requires energy supply. Q-Tex offers a wide variety for all types of bags. So with what we're going to see today, apart from these, there are like 2 variants for people who are a bit more ambitious, who want more power and always want to carry a slightly bigger backup. For those who want something lighter and more comfortable to attach to their phone and avoid running out of battery during the day. So with all this, let's start with the unboxings. We see them arrive with the box and begin testing. Here are the 2 boxes for the C25 and C12 power banks. As you can see, the packaging is exactly the same. A gray box, this matte gray that's so typical of the brand, with its finish, this little blue touch where we see Q-Tex. And on the front, an engraved image. Nothing on the top edge, nothing on the bottom edge either, nothing on the side edges, and on the back we do find images representing the different color models and variants that each device has. We also see the main features like capacity, power, in this case that it's magnetic, and each port and the power that each of these power bank outlets has. Let's start with the C25, the biggest one. The box is a little hard to open because it's packed tightly up to the wrapping, and well, here we have a couple of pull tabs to take out the box. We open the packaging, and honestly, it's pretty good. Here we find the cable hooked so it doesn't come loose. So, we have important information about the device, safety instructions, and the user manual. Let's continue and take a closer look. Let's remove it from the plastic, which I dislike because it tears and doesn't stick. Here it is. The first impression is that it's a solid battery, it's very nice, and the feel is quite interesting with this gray finish that's so characteristic of the brand. And here we have this handle, which is also the cable that's already pre-configured and comes installed in the power itself. So you don't have to rely on cables if you lose or forget them. The USB-A and USB-C ports, a button to check the battery status on this liquid crystal display screen. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Let's open this CP12, which is smaller and more compact. Same thing, a pull tab removes the white box, plus a user manual and impressive presentation. Is there a sticker to remove before use? The little cable is already included, and the cable is actually pretty well braided, the power outlets. A little button for the LED indicator, which we have here on the side. Let's check the condition. It's smaller, as you can see, more compact, and it weighs less. And these would be both power bands, as you can see. The design is practically the same, but in different sizes and with different purposes. Now that they're unpacked, let's discuss the design. Let's begin with the CP25, weighing nearly half a kilo at 493 grams, measuring 163 millimeters long, 72 wide, and almost 30 thick. It's not small, nor does it try to be. It's a battery clearly designed for a bit more power and autonomy. You can carry it in a bag, but obviously if you want to carry it in a pocket, you'd need a really big pocket or a jacket to be able to carry it around. So what do we have? A pretty solid product, good finishes, and well-placed ports. It also has an integrated cable that works as a handle or hook to hang it on a backpack when needed. Both also meet airline regulations, so we can bring them on any plane without issue. On the other hand, the little one, well, that's a whole different league. It weighs just 212 grams, about half the usual weight. Its dimensions are 109 mm long, 68 mm wide, and 20 mm thick, which makes it much more comfortable to carry around all day, attached to a phone. In this case, we can definitely put it in a pocket without any problem, because, well, if I stand up, you'll see, okay? Well, it's practically the size of a wallet. We also have this USB-C cable, which can be used to carry it, but I want to pause here because this is important. Is it the same for both the CP25 and the CP12? Does the integrated USB-C cable work as a hook or as a strap? Is it useful for hanging the power band, as I mentioned, on a backpack, a bag, or something like that? So let's talk about the ports, about how they're actually designed. I'll give you a bit more information about battery life and power, alright? Both display the milliamp rating. The CP25 shows it in blue on the front, while the CP12 has it engraved on the chassis. We have these ratings. The brand name appears on the front, sides, and edges. We use a striped finish for better grip texture, especially on the larger CP25. The back features a textured 3D finish with slight relief for better grip. Just so you know, it's not non-slip as I thought. However, on the Chiquitita, the back finish is completely smooth black, but with the magnetic charging area. If we don't go to the CP25, all the connections are at the top, featuring a black background with a striking blue band. And we find this cable of about 15 centimeters more or less that goes into this hole here. That is, we have a kind of pin that acts as a stopper, goes up, and then it stays hooked and fixed so that, as I said, you can hang it at a specific moment. For input and output cable, we have this USB-C directly anchored to the chassis. This allows us to provide a maximum output power of 55W if we're charging Xiaomi devices. Otherwise, it's 45W. There's a USB Type-A port that supports up to 33W, but fast charging is limited to 18W. And then there's another port, USB-C with a blue tip at the end. Just like the cable, it also allows us to reach up to 55W of power if we have a Xiaomi, or 45W on any other device. That's for a single port. Now, if we use several at the same time, the maximum it will allow us to get is 15W. Combining USB-A and USB-C gives 15W, as does USB-C with USB-C, but the latter lets us power multiple devices at once. The charging time will be about 2 to 2.5 hours to fully charge the battery, since it can take in 40W of power for charging. This beast of a device is pretty good. It has limited battery life, but our 20,000 mAh lets us easily charge our phone 3 or 4 times. So we can take our phone for 2 or 3 days without any problem charged with this single battery. That's why I'm telling you it's more designed for autonomy and power for a bag, to carry it as a backup or for support rather than for emergency situations as it could be. This little one is impressive, very well built, and doesn't feel cheap or like poor quality plastic. And if we go to the little one, here we have a different story, since I want to point out the issue with the hook. In this case, it was like a plastic noodle, and in the case of the little one, it's braided, like nylon, pretty strong. The USB-C input and output, enabling 22W, are anchored directly to the chassis and connected via USB-C on the other end. This port here, which neither outputs nor inputs power, I think Q-Tex could have at least used it to add one more port. The other USB-C here lets us reach up to 22.5W per port. That is, we can use fast charging at 22.5W, either with the built-in USB-C or with a cable we connect. But if we combine them, we'll only get 15W, just like with the other one. But we do have the option of magnetic charging, which is mainly focused on iPhone. Applies to all models from the 12 except Poco F7 Ultras. It worked wonderfully for me, it charged very well, and the magnet is quite strong and considerable. So what do we have? 3 7.5W magnetic charging points, a built-in 22.5W USB-C, and another 22.5W USB-C. It's 10,000 mAh and can provide 1.5 to 2 charges depending on the device, and also supports low current connections. Just like this, headphones, if we have a smartwatch, you can put it right here and they'll charge on the platform. Now regarding colors, this one only comes in this dark gray color. And this one is on Amazon, since they're only sold on Amazon in dark gray and white. I've also seen blue and orange colors on their website. I'm not exactly sure where it will be sold, because since they sell it on Amazon, maybe it's available in other countries. I want to highlight the protections included against overheating, overcurrent, short circuits, and overload. Internal sensors manage everything, ensuring reliable daily use. And they're not going to make the battery catch fire at any moment or damage your phone or any device because of overload or excessive current. In terms of price, like I said, they usually range from 25 to 30 euros, both depending on offers and when we buy them for what they offer. I think they're pretty affordable batteries with a good, let's say, quality price ratio. They're in a pretty competitive range compared to what's currently on the market. In short, if you want autonomy, power, and days without worrying about outlets, the CP25 is a clear choice. However, if you prefer something lighter, more comfortable, and designed to take with you everywhere, I think the CP12 might be a better fit in that regard. But they're two quite different power bands, each with a clear focus, and that's it. Let me know in the comments, which would you choose and which fits your daily life better? If you liked the video, I also hope you'll leave a like, subscribe, and activate the bell so you don't miss the next TechGround videos. And in the description, we'll leave the purchase link for both products. If we have a promo code, we'll include it there as well. And I hope you enjoyed the video and that it helped you understand a bit more about the differences between these two devices. What if you're watching this at year's end? It's the end of December, and I hope you have a great Christmas and a good start and end to the year. As always, your host is signing off. Hope to see you in the next TechGround video. See you soon.